everybody. I'm Soben Pin, the co-founder and publisher of KhmerPost USA. Today, I'm here at the Lowell City Hall. We're about to speak to Mr. Mayor Bill Samaras.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. And actually, welcome to my home.
Oh, thank you.
Temporary home, albeit that said.
This is such a beautiful hall. We want to bring the City Hall to the viewer today in a special KhmerPost USA episodes for this week that I'd like to speak with you from this. You know, most people feel that this is the hall of holiness. That when you're here, you can't lie. When you're here, you serve to the best of your ability, where you swear in January, and you do your job diligently. And you were elected in 2014 as a councilor, city councilor the first time, yes?
Yes.
And last term, you became mayor, yes. And prior to that, you served as Lowell High School headmaster for 20 years, am I correct?
Actually, 19 and a half to be exact. Almost 20.
Well, we can consider that as 20. So it's quite a change, you know, when we look back 20 years and your transition to the new role in the government. I think first of all, I just like to ask, how was it like in the last 2 years serving as mayor?
It's been very interesting. Let me put it that way. I mean, it was more than I thought it would be. Because as a city councilor, you know, we take part in the everyday issues and we work to make sure that people understand at City Hall what the needs are of our constituents. But once you become mayor and you're chair of the school committee and the city council, it's really quite a responsibility. But it's something that I think I learned a lot from. I think we did some good things during my 2 years that I'm very proud of, that I'm very pleased with. So it's been an exciting 2 years. It's been a long 2 years. But as I stated, I've met some wonderful people.
Long 2 years, but you got reelected again. Next term, you'll be serving as a councilor again.
Correct.
And I also noticed some changes during the last 2 years during your mayorship. That's including changing the ballot that you have Khmer language now. How's that change has been? It's been like, are people adapting to the change? Okay.
I think so. I mean, sometimes we wonder. I mean, when we started to do the change and we wanted to get the information out, a lot of people really didn't come to our meetings. But the thing is, we sent out a lot of information, and I think people really understand why we did this, because there was a lawsuit against the city. The method that we had, I mean, we have voted in minorities, but there are people questioning whether they really had access or the ability to get elected, because it's not easy running citywide. You have to raise a certain amount of money. You have to get your name out there. You have to go door to door to meet people. It takes a lot of energy and effort. But the thing is, I think when this lawsuit came, I look at certain things and I say, is this an opportunity? And to me, it was an opportunity. And it was an opportunity to reach out to the community and make changes that would benefit everybody, not just one group. And I think what we've done is we've made a major effort to really reach out to the communities. And I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm hearing different names of people. Well, maybe I'll run for school committee. Maybe I'll run for city council, especially with the idea of districts, because a district is much smaller than the city. And sometimes, you know, you live in a certain area and you get to know a lot of people. And then you would have a chance. You wouldn't have to raise a lot of money.
Talking about district and citywide, so the City Council this past Tuesday just voted in favor for at-large and mixed with district representation. Is that something that gonna definitely moving forward in 2020 term?
In 2021, we're going to have the census, the official census. And so for the election of 2022, it will be the districts, 2 minority districts, 6 regular districts, and 3 at large. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be, it'll be a little confusing at the outset, but I think what's going to happen, we're going to try to provide more information to people. We're going to try to develop some of the districts now, even though they might change when we have the complete census. But the thing is, we've got to get the idea out as to what's going to happen, so if people are interested in running for politics, you know, they'll know pretty much what they're going to have to do and where.
So explain me a little bit about this 2 minority district. I don't think I quite got that when I read it the first time. Does it mean that it's not necessarily reflected the acre, the downtown, the border line where each neighborhood is currently divided?
Basically, the majority population has to be a minority population. And the feeling is with that, there'd be an obvious chance for a minority candidate to become, you know, a city councilor or a school committee person. So it's a simple process. We talked about it last week, and the city manager stated very clearly that we're going to hire an outside expert, somebody who knows how to crunch the numbers and, you know, make it work.
So would that mean, would the Highlands stay the Highlands, or the Highland plus something?
The lines will look different, okay? So you'll still have a Belvedere area, you'll still have a Centerville Christian Hill area, you'll still have a Pawtuckaville area, and then in the downtown you'll have several areas. But the configurations, the lines, the streets will line up a little differently.
Depending on what they found on the population.
Location of the population. That's why this census is very, very important. Now, I've met with a number of people, and the one thing that we want to do is we're going to be working, say, with the CMA, Cambodian Mutual Association, because we have to make sure we reach out into the Cambodian community and identify everybody. We have to go into the Latino community, the Black community. But the issue is there are fears that have been created because of the issue with deportation, things like that. So people are somewhat reluctant to say, I live here. But the one thing about the census, none of that information goes to, we'll say, the police. The whole purpose of the census is really so we know who's living in our cities and where. And the one important thing about the census, it dictates how much money this community will receive, especially for the nonprofits, you know, for medical education, things like that. Very, very important. An exciting time.
It is, it is. Well, you can also work with the KhmerPost, right? I think looking forward, as we look forward to 2020, but we also, to me, I think sitting here with you, I just can't help but have a sense of, trying to get a sense from you how it's like it's been 20 years that you served as headmaster. So that's, and then spring forward 4 more years on a school committee, that's almost 25 years in leadership role in some capacity from education to local government. It must have been quite a change because Cambodian population started arriving here in the early 80s. We're looking at 35-ish year. And I think I like to connect this to one report that was released recently about the ratio of students and the staff in school district-wide. Do you feel that you...
Does the staff represent the students? We've hired a new superintendent who has a lot of expertise. And the one thing that I liked in our hiring process was he indicated that, you know, he was going to make this a major effort to ensure that the staff in the administration represented the students who they serve. And he's doing it. I mean, there's no magic to it. It's the willingness to go out and hire people who are qualified and competent, you know, to come into the school district. And he's done that. He's really used his position, I think, in a positive way. He's also going from school to school, rather than just stay in the office every day. He's out there because he is new to the city, and I'm really pleased that he's making an effort to go out into the community, talk with community members. You know, we talked about he'll be on your show, you know, after the holidays. This is important. It's important that people like yourself reach out to him to ensure that the information that they need about their children is out there. And he gets the information that he needs as to the concerns parents have, or community leaders have.
Yeah, I think for our community, the size of Cambodian community in Lowell, 30,000 plus strong, many leaders agree to this number, even, you know, but of course we waiting on the census number to come in to have a stronger determination. But I think, you know, when I read that report, release that, you know, over 90% of staff were white when we have majority of students are color. Like, how do you feel, when you look back, do you feel that was there something that you did or didn't do during as a headmaster that didn't help to change that?
The thing is, I made a lot of changes, but it had to be within the framework of the system that we had. And the system did not allow me to be able to go out and pick on my own. I mean, it was what the central office gave us. And I've been very critical of it. I was always critical of it. And because the thing is, if you have good minority staff members who want a job, the thing is, there are other communities that want to offer them the same job. And the thing is, we had to be able to be quick and decisive and be able to offer packages to various people if we want them into the system. So the thing is, it's what I've been pleased to do is I'm at this political level, and I've been able to hire a superintendent who is doing what I think always had to be done, and that is open up the hiring process and make it obvious that this is a welcoming community to all groups. And the thing is, before that, we didn't have that ability.
I did see that he's out there quite a bit, so we are hopeful that to talk with him.
You'll see the change.
Yes. And thank you for answering that question. I know that's a hard one, put you on the spot, but I had to ask. So I think, you know, beside on tough issue like this, but there's also tough one that also came out on a positive side, such as so many things that's happening in Lowell. We have the Hamilton Canal District that's going on, the Innovation Hub, the courthouse. When the courthouse going to be open?
The courthouse will open up in the early springtime. So, I mean, it was delayed a few months, but the thing is, once that courthouse is open up, we expect to have 1,300 to 1,400 people coming into Lowell every day. So that's going to help redevelop that whole area. There's no question about it. Sometimes in developers, a courthouse is not necessarily something that's an incentive for other people to develop. But when you have a courthouse this size, second only to Boston, I mean, this is going to be very meaningful. So you'll see a lot of restaurants, sandwich shops, more condominiums, things like that, and lawyer offices for lawyers and things like that. And as you know, Wind Development is getting ready to put up 2 buildings with workforce housing as the major incentive. Yes, not Thorndike. That's Halopolis, but Wind Development, you know, over by the new bridge, the Signature Bridge that's being built.
So new building will be coming.
Two new buildings. And that's going to be, hopefully, we're going to put the shovels in the soil this coming month.
Have we figured out, I mean, have you in the city figured out with how to channel this traffic? The 1,400 cars going to come in every morning, what we're going to do with the Lord Overpass? Because right now...
Right now, the Lord, I mean, I'm not sure everybody really understands, but we're building a new garage, and that garage is ahead of schedule. But right now, we were getting ready to start the Lord Overpass. But because we're going to be having these trucks coming in with these, I think, 70 or 80 foot steel beams, cement beams, the city manager has delayed the start of construction because traffic would be a mess. Okay? So the thing is, once the garage is built or tied together, then they'll start Thorndike Street. But we're working every day to deal with the traffic situation. As you know, we get next spring we'll be starting the new high school. We've got the bond issue passed for the new high school in the downtown. It's appropriately located. I know it was very controversial, but I was headmaster for almost 20 years, and I know what the students need. And this is something that will benefit every student, whether they're from the richest home in the city or the poorest home. They'll all get an equal and excellent education. That's what I want to see for them. So I'm pleased about that. So once that construction starts, are there going to be traffic issues there? Yes. Also, Route 38 is going to be widened. There's going to be traffic issues there. We've got a couple of more Tiger bridges that we're working on, so traffic issues there. And I think everybody's seen the construction that's going on with National Grid and other Verizon, other companies coming in, putting new wiring, new piping and what. So there isn't a day that you drive through Lowell, there isn't some type of construction that's going on. But you know what? We'll survive that and we'll be a much, much better city. I mean, our future is strong.
Going through change is hard sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of construction going on is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think most parents, talking about high school, most parents are worrying about how their kids will be dealt with, studying under construction zone. I mean, is there a way, will there be a way they're going to manage the noise, the dust, like I think people are worrying.
In 1997, I had $40 million of construction, for the high school. And it worked out very well. I mean, was it a lot of work? Yes, it was, okay? But the thing is, where the dentist's office is, that building's gonna go down and the new gymnasium will be built. That's not gonna affect any students anywhere. Then once that gymnasium is built, students will be able to use that, and the old gymnasium will be taken down, away from everybody. So the thing is, and then once that's taken down, they'll build a new freshman academy. Once the freshman academy is built, we'll be able to use the new freshman academy, the older freshman academy, and the 22 building while we work on the Lord building. So the thing is, these companies now, most of their construction is in cities like Boston, Lowell, Worcester, and it's all rehab type of situations. So they're experts at it. So I really don't see any issues whatsoever. I mean, will construction be going on? Yes, but when you're talking about the loud and dirty construction, that will be in the summer with no students there.
Oh, in the summer.
Yeah.
I see. And it go on how many years?
This is about 5 years.
Well, as our 30 minutes have come close, I think final question for you. I know that Vesna is vying for mayor. Does he have your support?
Absolutely. Always has.
That's great to hear. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
We look forward to work with you in the next term.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and until the next segment, I'm Soben Pin.